We are going to begin actually not with talking about websites. We actually intended to go over Price Zombie a little bit yesterday, but we ran so far over time. We thought we would just put that here at the very beginning. So Eric's going to do that. He's going to step in. That'll be about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll jump right into talking about websites and showing you the stuff I have pulled up here. So I'll switch over to Eric. And if it starts making noise, just click mute all, and it'll bring a dialog box over and say yes.
All right. Well, some people ask about Price Zombie. I guess it's people that haven't used it before. So, like, I probably don't get the max efficiency out of it. Hold on a second. But let's see.
That's Firefox, so you'll have to.
But I'm going to give you the basics of what I look for. And I've only got one example, so if anybody has any specific examples, I might go over a few. Let's see, what's the name of this thing? Shopkins. Something about a basket. I've actually forgotten about I'm going to give you some examples of, or one example actually in particular, about using, where's the So Cool Fridge? There it is. Okay, so I looked at this product the other day and it gave me a pretty good idea of what I want to show you with Price Zombie. And unfortunately, like Dan mentioned yesterday, when you have a product that's been carried by Amazon with, they act like it's going to be back stock for 6 weeks or in stock for 4 or 5 weeks. Sometimes Price Zombie will say that they've had it in stock when they really haven't. So that's a bit unfortunate. But so when you have Price Zombie installed, I guess everybody can see my screen now. So when you have it installed, this little icon up here in the top right of your Chrome browser, I'm pretty sure you can install it in Firefox as well. When you click on it, it'll give you a little snapshot of the product. To be quite honest with you, I don't even pay entirely too much attention to the snapshot. I just go ahead and hit product details and options. And what this will do, it'll open up a new tab with the Price Zombie information on it, which is what I'm looking for. And one little note, this shows Amazon only. Sometimes it shows different websites that Price Zombie is compatible with. Just make sure you're selected on Amazon. It will, I can't remember the website I was on the other day, showed pricing or information about a website that obviously I didn't care much about. But so you've got Amazon by default selected here, and it'll tell you that up here at the top, new from $17.99. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this top part. This is where I start looking as you scroll down, particularly with this graph. The green bar represents Amazon. The red bars represent used, which I don't care about. The blue bar is third-party new, which is obviously what any of us would be. So as you scroll along, you see that Amazon has carried it all the way until June 24th through the 28th at $17.99. You come back up here, and you'll see that last seen June 28th, 2015. So when you see this product, obviously they've not had it in a couple weeks, but you do know that they have stocked it within the last 2 to 3 weeks. So that's something to be wary of, or what have you. They've had it basically since the product came out. The only unfortunate thing with Price Zombie or Camel or any other price tracking software is it doesn't tell you with shipping. So it'll tell you that $21.56 is the lowest price, but that doesn't include shipping or what have you. You can see the buy box is currently $27, which is merchant. You click new here, and you can see the lowest prime is actually $28. So unfortunately, like Camel, Price Zombie, or any of the others that I know of, they will tell you that they'll list the price, the latest or lowest price as merchant fulfilled minus shipping. So, but you can tell here, like I said, the green line, you can see as we go back here, Amazon had it in stock at $17.99 for as long as the product's been out, up until June 24th or 28th is what this graph says. But when you look up here, June 28th is the last time they saw it in stock, and it was at $17.99. So if I were offered this product at wholesale, obviously I'll probably be a bit cautious because of the fact that Amazon's carried it recently, but there's a high likelihood that they may not get it back in stock. So I would certainly I would carry this product if I were offered it at a reasonable rate, particularly with the buy box being currently $27 maybe. Is that what it was? $26.98, something like that. Well, it's not going to load up, but so I mean, I would consider carrying it. Another important piece of information for Price Zombie as you come down, it gives you the chart on top is about who has it in stock at what price. The bottom one, which for this product is not really going to give you entirely too much information because after it came out, it went bonkers. Sales rank up to sub 100 or sub 200 or whatever immediately, and it has just sustained that over time, as you can see. But outside of this product, it'll tell you the 30-day average sales rank for that product. This one's 96. Like I said, this is an insane product with great demand. 90-day average 97. Not a whole lot of relevant information here other than the fact that it sells, just like wildfire, what have you. But if you're looking at a product, it's easy to see when you start getting into their sales ranks in the 30, 40, 50K range. One sale or two sales over the course of a day can bump the sales rank from 150K item or 100K item up to the 25 or 20K sales rank range. And what this is going to do is show you that, hey, yeah, it's 20K right now, but over the last 30 days, it's averaged, it's been averaging out about 60K, 90-day average been about 70 or 80K. So it'll give you a better, benchmark for what you can expect out of sales rank for this product. So I wanted to show you this product in particular because of the fact that it does highlight that Amazon was out of it. Now, as things tend to go currently with Amazon, they're more often stocking products or actually alleging that they're going to stock products 6 to 8 weeks back order or what have you. And in those situations, it still shows that they had it in stock despite not really being buy box eligible or anything that you could actually purchase outside of, back ordering it. So that is one, flaw for Price Zombie or any other software that tracks, because with Amazon, like Dan mentioned, saying that, oh, it's back ordered, this is going to be our price when it comes in, making other repricers and other sellers come down and match and be at that level of pricing. It will still show they have it in stock, although they don't, and may actually not get in stock. In fact, personally, I ordered some clothes from Amazon that was on a super deal probably 3 months ago, and I finally gotten confirmation email saying that, oh, we're not going to be able to get this in stock to you, so we're going to have to cancel your order. So that's becoming more of a common practice with Amazon, saying that the product is back ordered. We will have it in stock in 7 to 10 days or 7 to 10 weeks, just whatever they have written there, and they don't get in stock or they're not able to allocate it, but they're making the marketplace be competitive by presuming that they're going to have it in stock. But like I said, with this product, they don't have it in stock. They've not had it in stock since the 28th. So moving forward with this product, I would take a chance. If I were offered this at wholesale in the $11, $12, $13 range, that way, worst case scenario, Amazon gets back on it at $18. I lose a little bit of money. The sales rank's obviously very high, so I'm losing a couple of dollars a unit, and but I get my money back very fast. best case scenario, it continues at the $28, $29, $30 range, and I'm making $4 or $5 a unit so very fast that it accrues to be a large number of revenue for me. So this is kind of, Price Zombie is pretty straightforward. I know some people wanted to see it. To me, it reads fairly intuitive, but I've been looking at Camel and other type programs or software since they've came out, and so it doesn't. I love the fact that it shows when Amazon last had it stock, assuming they didn't do the back ordered kind of situation, and what date, and then your sales rank over a 30-day average and a 90-day average. And that really comes into play with your mid-range products, which I consider to be in the 20K rank for this category, just toys and games. So I would consider a mid-range product to be in 20K to 80K. To me, those are really close to being the same. It really just matters on how often or how recently a product sold, more often than not. So, this gives me an average over the course of time, and it will tell me, what the sales rank has ranged over the course of that time. So, yeah, it is Price Zombie, and it is I'm pretty sure free plug-in for Chrome, possibly even for Firefox. I don't use Firefox that often, but it's when you install Price Zombie and you're on an Amazon screen, it'll appear up here in the top right of the search bar, and when you click it, it gives you a graph that you can probably discern the same information from. I just go ahead and, because I enjoy looking at the full page, a new tab, click the product details, and then it opens up price. You can't. It's not like Camel where you can go to pricezombie.com and put an ASIN in and see the information. It doesn't allow that to happen. You have to have the plugin installed and then click on the product to open up the Price Zombie this page here. So that's one of the key differences for Price Zombie versus Camel. So, but yeah, like I said, it's pretty simple. I love the fact that it shows you, if possible, when Amazon carried it last, which is important for making wholesale decisions or replenishment decisions. You can see, like, if they have it in stock for some amount of time and they go 2 months without having it in stock, and they restock it again for another month or two, you can see how they carried it or what have you. So I tend to defer to Price Zombie personally over Camel nowadays, but realistically they're all similar information. It's like when you get in a situation like this, if it's questionable, especially for us, we just order it. I mean, and figure out what it's doing when we're able to stock it and get information across time, which is the most valuable information, because then I can tell you, okay, I had it in stock. I can tell you how many I sold over a set amount of time, with or without Amazon, et cetera. So, but this is definitely a good jumping off point. So, and Jungle Scout will give you the units per month for a particular sales rank. Of course, this sales rank doesn't even apply, because sub 100 in any category is obviously going to be more than you can probably even source. But I wanted to show a scenario where Amazon had it in stock for quite some amount of time and has been out of stock. So like I said, it's been out of stock now for just a little over 2 weeks. So it's a product where I would take a decent amount of these, knowing that worst case scenario, I've got to be under or at $18 to sell against Amazon with a sub 100 sales rank. These, as far as that goes. So, that's the gist of Price Zombie. Pretty straightforward. And I think that at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dylan. I know you guys want to know how to do websites and stuff, which I'm not going to be able to help you with at all. So without further ado, here's Dylan.
All right. Like we're still on the screen share, right?
Yeah, screen share's still on.
All right. Hey, everyone. Let's see. All right. We can, I'm not going to use Chrome. That's his thing. I'll stop the share so that you can look at me. All right. So what I'm going to cover is some points that I put together in as much depth as I can. And then every now and then I'll turn it over for questions, but we'll save most of the questions towards the end of this broadcast. But the first thing I want to start off with is one of the most common questions that we do receive in the Facebook group and other places, and that's talking about how to approach building the site. How, because we've talked about building niche websites, we've talked about building just one website with multiple categories for products. We've talked about building a website that doesn't list products at all as well. So let me close the door behind me, actually. And so I've actually got examples of all of these that we're going to look at and go over and try to see some of the valuable parts that we can recognize and incorporate into some of the sites that we're building. So the question comes up a lot, should I be making multiple niche websites or should I be making one website? And the real answer there is that both are effective. It can work out great either way. So to give you an example, I always say that having multiple niche websites does work better. And that's true, and I believe that. But that doesn't mean that building one website that has multiple categories isn't very effective, because it is. And to speak to that truth, as an example, here where we work, the first website I built for us was just a broad general category website. I didn't build multiple niche sites. I started with just one website, and I tried to make it as general as possible. So here's the example. It was a health-based website, and it was selling health products, sort of, because the categories I all in my brain just made it very broad. So it was a health website, but it had a health and personal care category, a beauty category, which in my mind is similar, relates to health. There was a food and grocery category, which in my mind still relates to health, right? There was a sports and fitness category, which again in my mind relates to health. And then also had a baby category, which that one was kind of pushing it, but we included it anyway. So that gives you a strong example of how that website is still niche specific, right? It's still health, but it still covers half the ground that of wholesale products that you would carry on Amazon. Let's see, let me pull up the chat here. See if I'm missing anything. Okay. So that gives you a good perspective, and that's what we used. We used one website for almost a year to contact companies with, approach company with. That one health website that had multiple categories, and those were typically the categories that we tried to stay in with companies that we were contacting. It was primarily for 6, 7, 8 months. We were just sticking with health and personal care category. We were sticking with beauty and baby, and then we stretched into sports and outdoors just a little bit, and then only recently we started to get into things like home and kitchen. And then we always did, we were always doing toys, but we were always successful with that separately all along the way. So we were very successful that way. We built our company up with one website, because I've seen other people talk about or interject about multiple niche websites being very costly, which it is. So you don't have to start that way. You can get to the point in your business where that will become effective like it has for us now. We've transitioned to that side. I'm going to show you multiple ways that you can go about that. So that covers having multiple niche websites and having one general website. So what are the other kinds that you can do? For instance, one I'm going to show you here, the first one I'll show you, is a website that just markets itself as an Amazon seller. Now, we try to teach you how to market yourself as an online seller. This website is dedicated to marketing itself, its business, as an Amazon seller, and how they can, what they can provide to you, and why they are one of the best Amazon sellers. I mean, that's what they're trying to get across. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. Alternatively, another site that I'm going to show you is an example of what we call a website network, or an online sales network. And it is what we're going to transition to that we think works best. But obviously it takes a lot of manpower, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a little bit of investment initially, but I think it is the most effective. So effectively what that is, this website is a main mothership website that functions as a vehicle to sell itself, to sell it as an online platform for sales, as an e-commerce website. And then it has multiple brands of other websites for niche specific websites as part of that major brand. So like, let's say they are supersales.com, right? That's the name of the website. Then they would have another website, a sub niche website called supersalesports.com, or supersalesnutrition.com, or supersalestoys.com. So they have all these branded multiple niche sites to make them look like one huge conglomerate network with all these different sales outlets and vehicles. So we'll cover that as well. So we'll get started there. So first off, I'll show you, let me pull up my notes, my handy dandy notebook, and we'll look at netrush.com. So you can follow along with that at home or watch here on my screen. So netrush.com. So NetRush is one of the top 100 sellers on Amazon. Assuming that this is going to work, it is just spinning on me. Let's see. Well, that's awkward. Can anyone else get to netrush.com currently from home? Because I'm not seeing it. Actually, but I'm not actually getting anywhere. There we go. It may be just my internet connection where we're running this. Okay, now we've caught up. Okay, so this is netrush.com. They are a top 100 Amazon seller. Do over, if they don't do 100 million in sales a year, they do really close to it. And I've posted this site in the group before, but I wanted to go over it with each of you in specific, and some of the things that they do really well that I like. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I need to share the screen, obviously. Duh. Thank you for reminding me. I'll do dumb things like that quite often. So you'll have to keep me in line. Okay. I'm assuming you're seeing it now. Can someone confirm? Okay. So this is their, as I was saying, this is netrush.com. They're a top 100 Amazon seller in the U.S. Easily approach $100 million in sales a year. This is the website that is focused on just explaining or exclaiming that they are an Amazon seller, and that they try to separate themselves from other Amazon sellers with value that they can provide. Now, some of this value you'll look at and think, oh gosh, I can't do these things. Yes, I did start recording, Abby. At least earlier I did hit the button. Hopefully it worked. Yeah, it's recording. Oh gosh, I lost my place. Where was I? So one of the top brands, or one of the top, so they try to separate themselves as an Amazon seller, which is unique to what we teach, but can be effective. And you'll look at some of the strategies that they employ, or some of the value addeds that they employ to convince companies to sell to them, and you'll think that it's difficult, or that it's hard for you to do that yourself, or you don't have the resources or the capability to do that. But we'll look at them, and I'll explain to you ways or strategies that you can easily do these same things that they do, or claim that they do, so that you can do them and claim them as well, and maybe incorporate them into your own site, or your own mothership site, or incorporate them into your email conversations with companies. So if we scroll down just off this main page here, you see one of the things that they do, and that a lot of companies like this like to do, and that is show off the brands that they carry, and to try to legitimize themselves. So if they carried, in this case, these aren't any that I have personally ever heard of, so there may be better examples of some of their partners. But if they were carrying products like Coca-Cola products, or just things that are really in the mythos of people's understanding and are aware of, those are the types of products that you would want to advertise that you carry and have accounts with, because it legitimizes you. So if another company that you're contacting comes on and sees, oh wow, they carry this product and that product, all these things that I've heard of, they must be legitimate. So that's a way that you can post products that people have heard of, or brands that people have heard of that you carry. They can help to legitimize you, and you can advertise that you carry those brands. Michael's posted their Amazon store there, and that's great. You can mine their inventory for different things, but it's so huge it would take forever to go through a lot of it. So just keep in mind to remember that you can always advertise your partners on air quotes, the products that you carry. Alternatively, you can call a partner a selling platform that you use, which we'll see in a different example. But you can always advertise that you sell on multiple selling platforms. We'll cover that in a little bit, but just to have you thinking about that, come back later. At the bottom of the site here, or about bottom of this page, they give you a little example of who we are. It just talks about, this is kind of where they flaunt their numbers a little bit. They talk about how long they've been selling on Amazon, how they're a top seller on Amazon. Now, this is obviously not something all of us can do, but when it comes to Amazon experience, some of us in this call right now have been selling for a while now. So you can always put your years of experience if it has exceeded what you would consider a reasonable amount. If you've been selling for 5+ years on Amazon, that's pretty decent to put on a website like this. I mean, 5 years is a good amount of time that shows that you're experienced selling on Amazon. You may not necessarily want to be showing your sales or things like that, but strong sales growth in 2015, that's something that we could all put on a site, for instance. So alternatively, let's go into what we do. And this is where they try to start setting themselves apart. Okay, so they talk a lot about, if you just read this little section here, they talk a lot about brand control. Okay, they talk a lot about targeted promotions and premium packaging and content management. So let's talk about brand control first. And this is basically where they give a little spiel about how sometimes companies have bad experiences with people that sell on Amazon, and how that you can't really prevent that, or how that they set themselves apart by being serious or legitimate, and that they have proof or a background that demonstrates that, which you can do as well. Now, a strategy that we employ when it comes to brand control, and this is pretty important, is that we let companies know that we actively try to help them enforce, well, not necessarily enforce, but we try to help report any company selling their products that are, maybe some people that are breaking MAP, or we'll report companies that aren't on their list of approved sellers, or we'll help them with those different ways. Now, here, a big one that we have used before, specifically with MAP breakers. Sometimes we'll deal with a company that has a lot of people that break MAP selling their product they sell to. Okay, but they have no way to enforce it, or at least they don't know that they have any way to enforce it. Now, what happens is that they don't understand that you can apply for brand control on Amazon. You can teach them or show them how to apply for brand control, so that then they can actually start killing different sellers that they sell to, that they know they sell to, or know potentially they could be selling to, and have them removed from listings and things like that. So that's one way around about that. Yeah, they're talking about like RA sellers. I mean, if you're doing RA, how much volume of product do you really have that you can get hit like that? It's just not common enough to, whatever. I wouldn't worry about that. If you're on the RA side, it's unlikely that you'd ever get just really crushed. Moving on for like content management, and this is a good one. And this is actually one when I saw this, I thought, oh man, we can do this. That's a great idea. Is they talk about obviously their ability to optimize listings or work on listings if they're granted permission like that. You can give little tips or little things that you can do to help them. So talking about, like here, they specifically say that they can improve your pictures. And this happens all the time. We'll come across products that just don't have really good pictures, or they don't have maybe there's only one picture on the listing. There could be multiples and things like that. So this is something that I imagine some of you do some amateur photography, or people that do in your family or friends that can help you out with this. But that's something that you could offer. That I see that your pictures aren't that great, or you don't have enough of them, and I can work on that with you, and we can get that improved, improve your listing, and thus improve your sales. So bringing me on will improve your sales, things like that. So any little things like that, improving their listing in any way, if you can do that, you can offer that to them when you're contacting them, and you can offer that on your website like this does. That moves us into targeted promotions that they talk about, and this is just any time, and this is pretty simple, that you can just offer these companies that you're willing to do promotions or targeted ads for them. And just how much you want to do or how much you're willing to do it's up to you. It's just a selling point that's available for you to use if you would like. It's there for you to use. Obviously, targeted promotions can drive more traffic or more sales to a product, because see, that's really the reason that companies don't like selling to Amazon sellers, is because the product just gets cannibalized. If it has a set amount of times it's going to sell, if that product just happens to sell 400 times in a month, if there are 400 sellers, each seller is just selling at one time a month, obviously. So they're always looking for ways to increase their sales, whether that's through different platforms or through marketing. We try to, obviously do it, mix the two in what we potentially try to offer. So that's why they're looking for people. So you have to understand that mindset. They were trying to boost sales. They're not just trying to add more people to the piece of the pie that currently exists. They need people to improve sales. So that's what your focus needs to be when you're writing on these sites or when you're emailing them back and forth. And then obviously down here, premium experience, and that's one thing that we like to discuss or talk about. So sometimes you'll get it's stopped loading for me, but sometimes you'll get a situation where a company will approve you, but they'll say not for Amazon. They'll say you can sell on your website, but you can't sell on Amazon or eBay or whatever. And what we typically like to do as a rebuttal there is to say, well, we fulfill all of the product sales through our websites and all of our other channels through Amazon. So we can't accept that offer because we have to be able to sell on all of our channels. And then you can go into a spiel about how the customer service provided by Amazon through FBA, what channel the sales are coming through, is world-renowned and of the highest quality. So it provides a great experience for the customer that's purchasing that product or experiencing that product. And these are things that sometimes these companies that you're dealing with just don't necessarily understand. So that's just like a little strategy or a little thing that you can incorporate if that corner case ever does come up. So that kind of covers, and then they have this what makes this unique area here as well. So, and this is where they try to, again, they're trying to differentiate themselves. They're a contributor, they're a partner, they're working for you, they're trying to help you. And that's what we do too. When I talk about helping these companies with MAP or calling them or assisting them at any time that we can, I mean, that's legitimate. You become a partner with that company that's selling to you and you're selling their product. And so you have to take that seriously. You're they're investing in you, you're investing in them. It's definitely works both ways. And that pretty much covers this site. So I think so here. Yeah. Oh, also, yeah, one other thing that they have here that I did not mention was that they advertise that they'll help you with reviews as well. And that's something that we've talked about a little bit. So Feedback 5 or Feedback Genius or these little not terribly expensive programs that you can pay for and hook up to your Amazon account that will solicit for feedback anytime a sale is made. And that can't, obviously, we understand that increased number of positive reviews on a product on Amazon increases its conversion rate, and it can also increase the traffic to that product because it obviously builds social proof. So doing that can help to increase the sales of a product and can be a great bargaining chip that you can use as well if you had one of those softwares. But again, it just comes down to, is that cost effective for you? Is that something that you're looking to move into? At least I think some of those companies have free trials maybe that you can mess with or try and things like that. So that's another thing to look into that this same company employs. So next, we're going to go into the website network, the large parent, like basically the mothership website that functions similarly to this, but talks about it as the company, instead of as an Amazon seller, as an e-commerce seller, and then also links all their other branded sites that are a part of that network. And that one is erevolutionventures.com. And they're actually the company they sell on Amazon is ThinkFast. So we'll go there next. I imagine many of us have ran into ThinkFast at one point or another. All right, so this is another example of them trying to throw their weight around here. They have all these different, the 6th fastest growing retail company in the U.S. based on some random whatever magazine. And who knows if any of this stuff is true? I have no idea. I didn't verify it. I imagine very few people would. They just have random buttons that make them stand out here that say random claims that are potentially unsubstantiated. I have no idea. But I do know that ThinkFast sells a lot of stuff on Amazon. So it could be true. We'll start with, I think the about here is just the tale of their company. Team is just some of their employees that they have. So I know that the important part of this site here that they're linking people to is the company's portion. So I'll just start there. The rest of it is matters much less. Let's load up here. ThinkFast is, I don't know if I would say that they're one that you should actively avoid. They don't beat the brains out of you on every product. It's just sometimes that they will. It's typically in situations like what we've found that some of these companies just set their repricer to the point where they don't care to be unprofitable on a product just to get the sales volume. ThinkFast is one to just monitor. They're one to look at. I'm not so scared of some of these companies, and I don't think you should be either. You should just monitor how they act on other products, similar products, how they act on that product if you can. Just do a little research real quickly, and then start with obviously a small amount of product to sell. When you're going against them, see what happens, obviously, and then make your decisions moving from there. But when we carry products with them, and have in the past, and will continue to do so in the future, they just aren't the best to be on a listing with. Okay, so what they have here, our companies, is a list of all the different selling platforms that they have, which also includes some things that we'll talk about here. So first, it starts off with something that we can't and then other people aren't able to do, and that is they have real physical brick and mortar stores. Well, sort of. We're going to investigate that, and that's the first thing that they advertise. So first thing that you'll notice is they have 2 stores that they show here that you can click that are actual links. And then they have 3 that are coming soon. Now, you know, and I know both, that it's very highly unlikely that they have any stores that are coming soon. That they are just using that as a tool to make you think that it's potentially happening or it's coming. That's my belief anyway. I don't think there's any stores coming soon. I think that just fills up more space and it makes it look like that they're growing and expanding, because this company has no use for a physical brick and mortar store. And especially after we investigate this a little bit, after I've looked at it. So I'm going to open up both of these tabs. They have the toy company here, and they have the Bethany Trading Company. And it is, so it's I'm reasonably sure that this is the same store. Like if you watch this video and you watch this video, that I guess they could be in different locations based on the address and stuff. But it's just kind of, I don't think that they use this store to actually make any amount of money. It just exists for them to get more accounts. Which is obviously once you grow to a certain point, you can start taking advantage of things like that. But I believe it's what's happened with that company. So they do post that, whatever. We're not worried about that. Second, that's what they lead with. But second of all, here they move into their actual separate website brands. So we have ThinkFast Toys, ThinkFast Baby, Fashion, Footwear, Rugged, So On, Click Toys, Baby. And you can just see it's kind of the same website over and over, same template, with all the products that they carry. Now, remember, ThinkFast is humongous, and they carry thousands and thousands of SKUs. So obviously, they can fill up these websites with thousands and thousands of different products. And so you think to yourself, oh, well, maybe these are legitimate selling platforms for them, that they do a lot of sales on these platforms, for instance. And what my research tells me is that is not the case. If I go to things like Alexa Rank and look some of these sites up, they just don't get the kind of traffic that you would imagine that they're getting doing any kind of real sales volume. So what they use, these sites that they've built are for the same reason that we built our sites, or that we suggest that you build yours, and that's just to better pick up accounts and show diversification of your sales platforms, even if these sales platforms aren't very successful. So they had the same idea that we had, that helped to make us successful. They have employed and used to be one of the largest best-selling companies on Amazon. Now, what goes on directly under here is where there is potential for them to do a decent amount of sales, and that is their platforms that they sell on outside of Amazon. Now, this could very well be legitimate, but it's something that I would suggest that you look into as well, because this is a great thing that you can advertise. Remember, we talked about partners before, which was the products that you carry. Well, alternatively, here, partners can be the platforms that you sell on. So obviously they lead with Amazon, and we know that's the one that they're doing the most sales with. Alternatively, into eBay, which I imagine that they do. They probably have some of those weird listing softwares that list products on Amazon listings on eBay and stuff like that. So I imagine they do that, have their own eBay stores. And then moving into Sears. Now, this is one that you may not be aware of, and these are things that you should be aware of and learn. So Sears has a marketplace. It's called Sears Marketplace. You can Google that, where they allow third-party sellers to sell products on Sears.com. And that, whether you really do very many sales at all through Sears Marketplace, is a great chip or a great thing that you can offer to companies and say, hey, I can get your products on Sears.com. I don't know how many people actually shop on Sears.com, but you could send in one of the products or two of the product to that Sears Marketplace, where at least there will just be a listing for it, and it'll exist to appease that company that you're buying from, that you are in fact selling it on Sears. There are a lot of these smaller, mid-level, small companies that could sell you product that would turn you down. But when you say, well, I can list your product on Sears.com, they would be like, whoa, wait, my product can be on Sears.com. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Tell me more. And then you can give them then you have to work with me here. So that's just like a great chip or tool that you can use. Whether you intend to do any kind of serious sales volume on Sears.com doesn't mean anything. It's just the fact that everyone has heard of Sears, knows about Sears, and when you tell them you can sell on Sears website as well, they think, oh gosh, that's fantastic. So the same thing is true of the other two, Newegg and Rakuten, which is just buy.com or whatever. Those are companies that we more generally associate with allowing third-party sellers, but these just show additional platforms and diversification of this company. The same thing that you can offer, whether you're doing real sales volume on there or not, you can send some products in every now and then to at least display or demonstrate that you do have wide open channels. And who knows, maybe one of these will explode one day for you. You'll really hit a niche or figure something out on one of them that can be successful for you as you broaden what you're capable of doing. And then Best Buy as we see listed here, also has its own marketplace, just like Sears. So there's a Best Buy marketplace, which you may not have been aware of. But typically, Best Buy is generally dealing with more electronic kind of stuff, or electronic accessories is typically where you could break into there. Like camera cases or random things that aren't actually electronic that you can get wholesale that maybe fit into the Best Buy marketplace. So just keep that in mind anytime you see a product while you're lead sourcing that looks like it could fit into what Best Buy marketplace could offer. Then you may want to enroll into their system there as well. And then I know that they used to list Walmart as a partner. They must have gotten shut down from that or quit. Walmart also has, which you may not have been aware of, Walmart also has a marketplace, but it's invite only, so you can't actually sign up for it. So I know that this company used to be part of it, but I don't believe that they are anymore. So as we scroll down here, we will see another little thing that they do that's awesome, and that is advertising that they sell in other countries, or they sell products on .canada or .uk. And that's something that's great that you can look into, at least. In Japan, that's another big one that even Amazon's trying to push, you selling product in Japan. If you sign up for .canada or you sign up for .uk or you sign up for .japan, you can offer the fact that you're selling this company, you can sell this company's products in different countries. And so if you have that .canada account, like I said, you can just send one or two in. Who knows how? I don't know what the sales volumes are like in Canada. That's a lot to keep up with. You're just using that as another vehicle to try to get people to sell to you. So you would send maybe one of the product to Canada. Maybe it will sell. Maybe it'll sell at triple or quadruple the cost. I don't know. I mean, that's what I would probably do if I was just sending one in of a product or a couple into Japan or to the UK just to show that the product was actually being fulfilled in these countries that I said I was selling it in. I would set the price reasonably high. I mean, maybe it'll sell. Maybe someone will come across it and like, oh my God, someone that's been in Canada, I've been looking for this and needed this, and is willing to pay double or triple. So that's another way you can broaden what you can offer to these companies, and you can include that on your website. So that kind of covers this is the route that we're trying to take, is where we're this large network of sites, this large selling e-commerce network. So we're gonna add some of these same kind of different e-commerce outlets. We're gonna try to start actually sending in some product to these different overseas countries and do things like that. And we have some other neat ideas that we're trying to take advantage of. So that leads us into the next example. And the next example is the one that I said is obviously very different than these, but does work just fine. And that is just one simple e-commerce website with products for sale. And then this is just a Amazon web store is what the platform this was created on. So just don't even pay attention to that. Imagine this didn't exist here. But it's just a simple selling website. And this is all you need to really be effective. We just showed you some more hardcore, serious websites or things that you can borrow from, mostly in your email communications, but you could include in your site or give you ideas for now and the future. But just something like this. It's a simple website design. There's not a lot to it. There's multiple categories here. It has any Radco Consumer Products. That means nothing. Radco Consumer Products Incorporated. Right? That doesn't tell me anything. That's not. That could mean anything, but turns out this is like a bags and luggage niche specific website with some other things thrown in. But this could be a general site. This could be anything, and this is all it takes to be successful. Just like I showed in my video module from the course. Something simple. I mean, there's not a lot of products carried on this website. There's very few. And this is one of the examples that when Amazon Web Store was still active, which actually showed to customers to show this is what you can create using Amazon Web Store, which this platform isn't available anymore. But so this was just a random website with not a lot of products. book would be very effective in linking potential wholesalers and manufacturers to that site, to helping you gain the clout that you needed to be an approved seller for them. So it's just something real simple like that. And so that'll lead me to, so now that we've covered those, okay, so I hope you understand that general sites work just fine. You don't have to worry about that, that there are all kinds of different ways to build a website. It's just understanding that having a website of some kind is important, because it is your way to, a great way to market yourself, whether that's via having products listed to sell, or whether that's just showing your marketing strategies or ways that separate you from other sellers. So we'll move into the different solutions that you can take advantage of besides Wix. So Wix is the one that I showed in the course and the one that I recommend. And the reason that I recommended it was because it's so easy to use in comparison to anything else out there. Obviously, the hardest thing to do when it comes to creating a website would be to create it with HTML and CSS and host it yourself. So obviously that takes a lot of knowledge and understanding, a lot of teaching yourself or being taught by others, which isn't obviously conducive to everyone. So I tried to show something that was simple that almost anyone could use and learn to do themselves. So alternatively, if Wix isn't for you, or you are already using other platforms, I was just going to run down a list of other products or other platforms that are available, or maybe some of these you have experience with. So there's oneandone.com, that One and One your website. You may have seen their commercials. So that's another kind of WYSIWYG meaning like easy drag and drop builder. So that's an example of a site or a different company. I'll go ahead and Google these so I believe it's just a One and One website. That's what we'll put. I forgot that this runs so slow. That may not have been the smartest of ideas. When I'm streaming here, my internet connection is super slow. So One and One is one of those platforms. That's probably BigCommerce is another. So that's big. I'll just type it out here so that you can see that BigCommerce is another. They're kind of a more expensive solution, but you get a lot of support from them as an option, making it a lot easier for you. GoDaddy obviously has website building solutions, which I'm not a huge fan of, but other people have experience with it or used it before. You have obviously WordPress. WordPress is probably the most popular website building platform of anything that there is. And you can use different plugins to create shopping carts and things using WordPress. So there's a lot of support for WordPress. There's a lot of different options available to you within WordPress. So and it could be something that you're comfortable with already. So that would be just fine. You can use WordPress. Another that you can look into is Shopify. It's built. Their templates and things are built with e-commerce in mind. So Wix is generally making more beautiful or artsy websites a lot of the time. Shopify is actually dedicated to e-commerce sites, and that's their whole point with their shopping carts and built-in e-commerce stuff. So that's another one, and that's another popular one as well. We also have Squarespace. You may have seen their commercials as well. They're another WYSIWYG builder. And what I mean by WYSIWYG is that's an acronym for what you see is what you get, and that just means effectively drag and drop builder like Wix is. Those, where you're actually just clicking buttons and dragging things instead of coding. So I shouldn't use acronyms but explaining what they are. So sorry. So that's how these are all platforms that you can do it yourself on, right? We've had a few questions about we had a question, are there any of them free? I had a free site years ago, Office Live. To my knowledge, I don't know of any websites that you can get made free that you can also attach your domain name to. So like Wix, you can build your website totally for free as long as it doesn't have a shopping cart, and it'd be live on the internet and stuff for people to find. But you can't tie your domain to it, and it also runs like a banner ad for Wix on it. And all these other companies that I've mentioned are the same. Most of them will let you do it for free, but to actually use your own domain name and stuff, you actually have to pay. Now, yeah, like WordPress with WooCommerce is free, but you still have to have a domain and pay for the hosting. So if you can get cheap hosting, it becomes effectively free. And then I guess WooCommerce charges you a percentage or whatever. That's the app that you primarily use with WordPress. So, but if you're already using like a cheap hosting, or if you can self-host or things like that, yeah, WordPress is the cheapest alternative of anything if you can. It's not actual free, but it's as close as you can get if you do everything right and know what you're doing. That was Jenny that recommended that. So these are the ones that I know that you can do it yourself. But if you need other people to do it, that's something that I don't really have a lot of experience with. Maybe others in the chat or in the Facebook group can recommend places that they have had people build them websites or companies that they've used before in the past. Because I've always done those types of things myself, so I've never really had to go looking into finding other people to build websites and things for me. So you guys can use each other as a community to try to figure out the best ways to have other people outsource that for you. One website that you can use is Fiverr. Spelled that completely wrong. And here we go. And so, and you can get as specific as, obviously you can tell them that you want, Elance is another one that's a good for any random little things. But so like on Fiverr and Elance, you can even go super specific. So sometimes you would just put like, I need a website built, right? You can put Wix. You can type Wix and find services, and you'll get a list of people that will build you a Wix site for whatever amount of money. So you can even narrow it down to the specific platform that you want it built on, if that's where, because Wix is easy to edit and make changes that yourself. If you just wanted to get a shell built or something built out early, you could use one of these people that say that, I'll set up a full functional website on Wix for you. I'll create and edit your Wix hosted website, or whatever, blah blah blah. So you can use Fiverr for specific things like that. You just have to think to I think, I can't remember. So Elance, and I think there's an eDesk as well. Some stuff going on there. Yeah, Odesk. Odesk changed to Upwork. That's what it was. Yeah. Odesk changed to Upwork. So Odesk.com is now Upwork. Yes. So those are some of the places that you can go or to try to find other people in order to outsource that work. Moving into another category that people talk about or wanted to know about, because a lot of us just don't have this skill, is creating logos. So obviously I like to have a nice logo for any website that I build, and logos can be expensive or hard to come by, or they're things that people worry about too much. You don't need to have an amazing, brilliant, awesome logo. You just have to have a logo that doesn't look like poop. That's the goal. Logo that doesn't look like poop. It's the same thing with your website. Like, you just need a website. It needs to exist, and it just doesn't need to look so bad that it's unbearable. It just has to look good enough. And so the same thing with the logo. Don't worry, or those things don't matter that much. They just have to be decent. Just get them. Don't spend days and tinkering or trying to make it as perfect as possible. Those are things that just do it and then move on to the next thing. And same thing. Yeah, Michael mentions, don't get hung up on the name of your store or the name of your website or the name of your domain name. Don't get hung up on those things. Just pick something and move on, because it's not really relevant. I've seen people much smarter than me. I've went to conferences or listened to people talk that tell you that those are the little things that don't matter. Just pick them and move on. But if you need a logo designed or created, there are a couple ways to go about it, and I'm going to show you that. So Fiverr, where we're at right now, is a place that you can get logos designed. So you can just search logo design or logo or whatever, and you'll get a list of people that will do that for you for some amount of money. Okay. You have what I think the best option is. So if it ever comes down to you need a awesome logo, I mean, where it actually matters what it looks like. So if you're dealing with like a private label product that you're creating, or you're dealing with your company is moving on to bigger and better things, where you're doing millions in sales or something and you really need a nicer looking logo. If you're doing that, I would suggest 99designs.com. See, 99 Designs, let's go there. It's expensive because it's like, to really get what you want, you have to spend like a minimum of $500. But 99 Designs is an auction-based system for logos, where effective or bid system, where you put all the information or what you're looking for into a little file and submit it, and then all these different artists and graphic designers read what logo you're looking for and that concept that you've created, and then they make their rendition, the artistic rendition for it. And then you get all these fantastic logos that have already been created by these hundreds of different fantastic artists, and then you just choose the one that you like the most, and that person gets $500. And then you have owned that logo now. And so we used that once for a project that we were working on, and the young lady that we selected ended up being just fantastic to work with. And then in the future, anytime that we had a project, we would just email her and ask her if she just wanted to do it, that we weren't going to post it on 99 Designs or ask anywhere else. We would just ask, do you want to do this logo project for us or this specific graphic design project? And she said yes. And she never charges us more than $100 for any project now. So that one project costs $500, but all future projects with her just cost us $100. So basically, we talk about her like she's on payroll. Like, we just use her for all kinds of random stuff, and it's been great. It was a way to hire a cheap worker for us. So those are places to get them made by other people. So now we'll move on into, I'll show you two different things, and that's how to, if you actually are adept with creating them yourself, or at least if you know how to use Photoshop enough to do it yourself, that would be Shutterstock.com. And that's when I create logos and stuff for us too, or little things. And this is usually what I use to do that. So I'll show you, hopefully if my internet speeds are somewhat decent, we can do this. So we'll do this in real time. Somebody give me a concept, a logo concept. I'll find a logo using Shutterstock that'll cost me like $15. Dragon Toys. That was quick. Okay, so Dragon Toys. So I'll start by being super specific. It probably won't work, but I'll start with Dragon Toy. I actually probably need to change that to vector files. Yeah, because I'm just going to get vectors Dragon Toy. Okay. I would probably use this one. I think as the watermark and stuff on it. I mean, that was quick, right? So I would select this. You would buy it for like $15, and then you would just put some text underneath it that was dragontoys.com or whatever. I mean, it's that simple. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. There's would effectively work as a logo. Just find some cool text or a cool font. Put dragontoys.com or whatever you would be right under it. And you could go obviously look at. I mean, this one's cool. Oh, that one's perfect. Dragontoys.com with the dragon giving you the thumbs up. What's better than that? I mean, that's a perfect logo design, right? I mean, so this is just a website where it has all this stock photography or stock artistic stuff that you can go through and then select for different things. And I just pull out bits and pieces and make logos, or use it for graphic design or for developing PDFs or things like that. I use this a lot for that. A lot of the little graphics and things that I used in the course when I was building the PowerPoint and things, some of that came from here. So this is just a great website for that sort of thing. Shutterstock.com. And there are other big stock photography websites. This is just typically one of the cheaper ones. It's like $15 a photo or something like that, or you can get them a little cheaper if you buy big packages. Beyond that, though, we have automated logo creators. So if you can't actually take those files and manipulate them in Photoshop or add text to them or whatever that you would need for those types of purposes, you can use these little logo creator websites. So if you just go to Google and type in logo creator, I think Graphic Springs and Design Mantic are popular ones I've probably used before. Yep. So I know Design Mantic for sure. It's really simple to do. So like enter your company name. So remember we said Dragon Toys. All right. That's the name of our company. We pick. Let's see. That may not be something that's in this list. Actually, no. Wait. I'm sure I'm overlooking it. Games and gambling doesn't seem right. All right. Let's try different. Let's use pets, the pet store. All right, okay, let's do that instead. Animal and pet. Show my designs for free. Those are stupid. Let's see. See that, like right there, like the pet store with the little cat. These would be all like that one. Be good for a vet. And then my internet connection is super lagged out, so you see this half-loaded screen. All right, the pet store. That one's cool because it's like a little shop you could around the little dog there. So you just get all these little examples, and when you like one, so like let's say that this one worked. Remember, I said you don't have to spend all this time on it. There's some variations of colors. So like let's say you went with that one. And John asks what was the one before Design Mantic, and that was Graphic Springs is another one. There's one more that I remember that is not terrible. Some of these are really terrible, but Design Mantic is. I can't remember what this ends up costing you in the end. Let's just say that this was fine. It lets you edit it a little bit and change the colors and change the text. Let's just hit download and see what happens. If my memory serves me correctly, it's not going to be more than $50. I can tell you that. Well, it's going to be logging. I'm pretty sure, if I remember using this site in the past, it's something like $50. Oh yeah, and Shutterstock was the name of the website that had stock photography. Lots of great stock photography. So yeah, Design Mantic is somewhere around between 50. Maybe the price has gone up. So yeah, in 2007 it was $50. Diana says in chat. So maybe it's a little higher, but it's not going to be extreme. It's not going to be $500 like it is other places. And then here's Graphic Springs. They advertise that you only pay $40 for their websites, and it's the same process. You just answer some questions or put some stuff in, and it takes you through the logo creation process. So those are options for you to just get one done real fast. I'll just close out of that. We won't go through that whole process and waste your time. So I talked a little bit about photo editing there too. That may be something that you don't have a lot of experience with or that you want to learn about. Obviously, the University of YouTube is great for learning how to use different photo editing softwares. So we all know about Photoshop. I've heard about Adobe Photoshop before, but it's expensive, and it's something that I just always have owned or always had and always used and learned how to adeptly use is Photoshop. But if you don't know how to use it and want to learn how to edit your own photos, and when I say edit your own photo, I mean it can be something simple. It can be just cropping something out of making an image smaller, making it fit larger. If it's a 500 pixel photo and you want to just blow it up a little bit to 800 pixels, these are things that you can do in Photoshop. But alternatively, there are cheaper solutions. And the one I wanted to show you is GIMP, which I probably need to spell that here because it's with my accent. So it's GIMP, G-I-M-P, and it's GIMP.org. And this is effectively like the knockoff Photoshop. It's pretty much as close as that you can make a program to being Photoshop for free and not get sued. Okay. So it works very similarly. It lets you edit Photoshop files, and a lot of people use it. I know Eric has always used GIMP. I've always used Photoshop. He's always used GIMP. And so it's very effective and very powerful. And you can, obviously there are a lot of videos on it show you how to do whatever it is that you're trying to do with the software, which typically involves just sizing pictures properly or removing backgrounds, which is, once you get the hang of it, is a pretty easy process. But again, that's if you want to take the route of learning to do it yourself. Outside of that, you can submit projects on Fiverr for people to take care of. And typically, submitting photo editing projects on Fiverr are pretty cheap because there are a lot of people that have these resources or capabilities. So it's typically there's a lot of competition for them, so it keeps prices down. So when you need just like, I need the background removed from this picture, I need the white opaque in this picture, or whatever, you're typically just going to pay like $5 for that each time, so Fiverr is great to use for just small, quick projects that you need back fast or inexpensively that you can't do yourself or don't know how to do yourself. So moving on, some other topics I wanted to cover before we moved into just taking the bombardment of questions. Is talking about domain emails that tie into the website as well. And so that is, we just use the Google Apps to create our domain emails. There are a lot of different other alternative ways. It's just the way we do it because we always have used Gmail to manage everything that we do here. But I think it is important that you try to create a domain email that matches whatever website that you're using to advertise yourself or your company. We've mentioned that many other times, but I don't like sending people anything from a Gmail, contacting companies from a Hotmail. That would be much worse. That's awful. Contacting them from a yahoo.com or an ATT. I would please actively avoid that. Try to use whatever website that you're pushing or linking them to, it being at that domain name. I think that typically works best. But as long as your at domain name is just not something like Gmail, as long as it's something that looks professional, it's okay if you're emailing them from a different domain name, as long as for some reason that's logical and makes sense compared to what you're linking them to. And then next thing that I wanted to cover that gets talked about a lot in the group or people mention is how to stock products in the website, or how you're selecting products to stock as part of the inventory. So we talked about, obviously, a powerful way to build a website is to actually make it be a web store, an e-commerce store with products and inventory available for purchase. Now, the way we set up our stores is that we do not submit them to search engines, which means that it's very unlikely that we would ever get a legitimate or real sale or real traffic on those sites that we would have to worry about those things. So some people have asked. I don't really have a whole lot of products that I can list, but obviously I want some amount of products to be able to put on that site to make it look good or make it look decent or not like a joke. So some different strategies that you can employ to have more product listed on those sites. Number one is you could actually just go to places like Walmart or whatever and buy some products to list on the site that are specific to the categories or niches that you have, and you could just send in and handle that however you want. You could just keep them at your home in case in merchant fulfill them if anyone bought them. Just do a fulfillment order or whatever, or actually just send them in the U.S. mail to them. Another thing that you can do, you can list any product. So we talked about drop shipping one time. It's against terms of service to drop ship through Amazon, so you don't ever want to drop ship through Amazon. But what you can do is go to a website like Walmart.com, for instance, and just find products there and take the pictures and the descriptions and list those products on your website at a markup like 10% or whatever, or 20% and 30%, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And if anyone ever purchased that product on your site, you would just purchase it on Walmart.com and have it shipped to them. You just drop ship it. So that way you're drop shipping still, but you're not drop shipping through Amazon, so you're not violating their terms of service. So if you're ever worried about that, you don't have to ever deal with that. So that's a way to list any amount of product that you would want on your site, drop shipping just using other websites. And that's so that's just something that you can do. For our inventory, it's our actual FBA inventory. We're just listing products that we actually carry, but that's just up to you how you want to approach listing the product. So those are just some ways that you can do that. Shipping them from home, doing fulfillment orders, however you want to approach that. we even mentioned someone mentioned even like if anyone ever buys, they'll just cancel the order. They don't intend anyone ever finding their site. So I mean, that's one way that you could approach it. I wouldn't do that personally, but it's a possibility. It's something that you can do. No, right. You can't drop ship from another site and fulfill an Amazon order. You'd actually have to drop ship. Like you would have to, if it was a Walmart.com item that you listed, you'd have to have it shipped, not through a fulfillment order on Amazon, but from Walmart, have it shipped to you first and then to them or whatever. And then multi-channel fulfilling through Amazon, like all the time. Like that, I thought I was just under the impression everyone understood that. So some people mentioned fulfilling orders from Amazon. Yes, if you have the product in your FBA inventory and someone orders from your website, like from Wix, you can use Amazon's fulfillment system, create a fulfillment order to have that sent. Yeah, that's if you actually really have the product that you're talking about in your inventory. That's very simple to do. You can really fulfill those orders through Amazon's inventory if anyone orders through Wix or Shopify or whatever. But I would not recommend drop shipping through Amazon, which would mean products that you are not in your inventory.
Using Lula clips makes getting.
And then ordering them on Amazon and then having them shipped to that person. Do not do that. Definitely don't do that. And then, so the last thing I wanted to cover before we move into questions, well, actually that's it because I already covered that. So I'll switch it to my face here. I can figure out how to stop the share. Okay. So that kind of covers the points that I really wanted to touch on that I knew, or common questions or common themes. I've also, if people have specific Wix questions, Wix-based questions, I actually have the Wix site pulled up here as well that we can go over. So starting now, you can go ahead and post your questions. We can cover them, whatever they may be. I'll just wait for them to come on here. Anybody? Let's see. Anything? Surely not. So one person asked us to show us your Wix presentation in overview mode. So okay. So we might be able to do that. So Michael asks, which do you think has more value? A site like NetRush or a private branded site? So obviously a site that, I'm assuming you mean private branded site, like an actual web store, niche specific web store or something. And I think the one that has more value when you are NetRush, and that you can throw some weight around and say you do X amount in sales or you do this and we're just better than other people. And obviously we know what we're doing because we do so much in sales, it works better for them. But at a small scale level, at the lower level, unless you're just really good at BSing, if you're really good at BSing, then the NetRush approach works. But otherwise, I think that the best approach is the private branded site, the e-commerce site with the actual products listed. So the next question is, my internet provider gives free hosting for domain and website. Can you use Wix templates for a site hosted elsewhere? You cannot use their templates on anything other platform besides their own. You can bring over the domain name, have it transferred to Wix, but you can't bring things from Wix to other platforms or anything like that. So it has to work the other way around. You have to transfer the domain to Wix. Their templates are all part of their system, so they don't transfer. It's not like CSS. Can you show how to take a pic off Amazon and edit it in GIMP and then load it to Wix? Well, I've actually never used GIMP, so I can't show that, but I can show how to do it in Photoshop real fast, and it would be pretty similar. So let me switch over. We'll do that for real. Let me share my screen here. well, let me pull up, see what I have here in Photoshop. Nope. Nope. Let me close these out here. Okay. So I'm gonna share screen, share screen, share screen. So now you see Photoshop. So let's go to Amazon. So these are square, like what you see here, these little boxes where the products are displayed. These are, I'm fairly confident that those are perfect squares. And they look like they're about, so a perfect square means the dimensions are even in pixels. That means the pixels are like, it looks like it's 800 by 800 or 600 by 600. So let's look at a product. Look there, that one, that'll work. Okay, so this is how I do this in Photoshop. So let's say I wanted to get this product sized properly and looking good on my website in a perfect square. So I would just click this product, expand it big like this, and then right click, save image as. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it in. I'll just put it right here. We'll name it, what is this called? IXCC, save. Okay. And now in Photoshop, we would just go to File, New, and you would want to change these to pixels. I imagine this would work almost exactly the same in GIMP. You would just go to File, New, and then you could set the proportions of the file here that you're about to edit. And so remember I said a perfect square, those boxes were 800 by 800. In this case, I would not make the image 800 by 800. I would double that. So that way the proportions are double, but then it shrinks a much larger image down into something smaller, which was 1600 by 1600. So it makes that square. And then let me uncheck that. And then you would just drag in the, what was that called? Yeah, so you would grab the image and just drag it over top, and it would lay it on top, but it's still not perfect, right? So you would hold Shift and Alt on your keyboard while this is laid over top, and I imagine it's going to be the same in GIMP, and grab it by the corner. What holding Shift and Alt does is it maintains the proportions of the image so that it doesn't, I'll show you what it does otherwise. If you're not holding Shift and Alt, like the product can just like get all contorted up and stuff and get all messed up and then look stupid as you're trying to expand it. So let me just let go and hit Control-Z to undo. When you're holding Shift and Alt and then you click from the corner to expand, it maintains those proportion ratios. So I can bring that out to an area where that's something around right there within that perfect square, and then I would just double click to fully place it. And then from here I would just save this image and then upload it, and it would fit perfectly into that box within Wix. And it would, so that's how you would do it in GIMP as well. So you can rewatch that on the replay and stuff. But that's just a simple way to quickly do that. So I'm going to go back up here and go in order here. So shopping cart site. Shopping cart site. Are you a fan of fake it till you make it? In other words, present yourself as bigger than you actually are. That's not really fake it till you make it. Always make yourself look bigger than you actually are. I mean, that's the point. I always say when you're contacting companies, I would even use a pseudonym. So it's like you have other employees and stuff. You would contact them as Rachel or whatever, and say that you're a representative for company X, or that you're a sourcer, and then you'd pass it on. I mean, always make yourself look as large and as legitimate and as possible, because I can tell you that stuff really works and really helps. So that's not really necessarily faking it. That's just being business savvy and being smart. That's be business savvy and be smart. So yeah, I like doing things like that. As long as you're not lying. I don't recommend you lie. but just implore strategies that can help you in some way like that. Does paint work? I know a lot of people that are masters of using paint to edit photos, but I have no experience with it. I've always used Photoshop. Let's see. As someone coming from RA, should I list some of my RA inventory as my products, or would you do more like list the RA products? That'd be fine, especially if it's a general website with multiple product categories. List the RA products. That works just fine. RA products, OA products, list those. I mean, that's no problem, as long as there are just products on the website for the purpose of having products and making it look like you carry a real inventory. It doesn't matter where they come from. Yeah. I mean, I prefer to use the real inventory that you have, no matter what it is. So if you just have a bunch of random inventory and products, make a random and inventory products based website for the time being to be your jumping off point, a general website with products, so that way you can use the real inventory. I think that's totally fine. No problem at all. If you can, that's part of it. You can be running out and things, but you can still leave them posted and just try to source them from other places. Because remember with Wix, with Wix, I think I'm still screen shared, right? When you go to publish, you can just, right here is where it says allow search engines to find my site. You just click this little box over to no, the box isn't fully loaded. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, worrying about people actually ordering from something on your site is not something I typically worry about, because I don't think it's ever going to happen. So in this case, you would just hit no, allow search engines to find my site, no, and you would hit publish. So that way it's unlikely people are going to find it, so you don't have to worry about that stuff so much. And so, yeah, I would just source the product on the internet and have it shipped to them if someone did actually end up buying it sometime later. Next question is WordPress as easy, simple to create a website as Wix? Our site should have a shopping cart for wholesale reps to test that it's a real site, correct? So first question is WordPress as simple as to create a website as Wix? I do not think so. I do not believe it is as simple. It's easy, it's simple relatively, but it is not as easy, especially getting started with WordPress is a weird conundrum. Like, a lot of people, once you figure out how to get started with WordPress, then it all kind of makes sense, and it's all downhill from there. But getting started initially is the hard part with that. And then our site should have a shopping cart for wholesale reps to test that it is a real site, correct? Yes. If you're going to be listing products for sale, it needs to actually work. I mean, it's a possibility that a company that you contact or a wholesaler or manufacturer will try to put products in their cart. It's unlikely that any of them will actually try to buy, but they'll try to put the stuff in their cart to make sure that your website is legitimate. So yeah, if you're going to be listing products, there needs to be a real cart system. It needs to all work, and you probably should test it one time to make sure it all works and goes through. Yeah, definitely wouldn't fake that part of it. So yeah, I mean, I guess the questions, just keep bringing the questions in at all. If they start to slow down, I'll just show some little things on Wix that little tips and tricks, random stuff. But is there any real difference between Wix and Shopify? Price, that's one. Shopify, you can take off, like, Wix allows you, I don't know about Shopify, I can't remember their payment options, but I know that Wix allows you to accept PayPal or to accept some other payment processors, accept all forms of payment pretty much, which PayPal accepts all forms of payment too. So there are multiple ways that you can accept payment in PayPal. And then Shopify, I believe, is the same way. They have multiple avenues that you can accept payment as well in there. And then Shopify doesn't allow as much intense customization as Wix does. So Shopify is a little bit more simple in that the way that you can edit things is more streamlined, where Wix allows you to to have more moving parts and definitely add more apps and things to customize the site going forward. We have a question. Do manufacturers want to see credit card accepted, or is just PayPal okay? I don't imagine that they care. I don't think that that's ever come up, and I wouldn't imagine it's ever come up. I wouldn't worry about that. Which PayPal will accept a credit card. You can put a credit card number when you're doing PayPal, so it's kind of the same thing in my mind. I just one here is one little comment is I started by just having my VA list cool products from Amazon. I was going to use my inventory, but it's so inconsistent since I do RAOA. So if I don't plan for people to order, it doesn't matter. Sorry if we went over this. Just already have over 100 items listed. If you have over 100 items listed, that's fantastic. I don't think you really need to edit it anymore. I would just add the items. And that's another thing that I never mentioned, actually, is as you get approved for accounts, if you told them that you're going to be listing their product on your website, you need to do that. Don't forget to do. We've had that come up. So we've had companies that we got approved for and started selling their product, and then they sent us an email. They're like, "Hey, we don't see our product listed on your website, like you said." It's, duh. I just randomly forgot to do it or missed it. So sometimes that happens. It just happened this week, actually. Someone emailed us. So they didn't see the product listed on Amazon, and I'll stop that share so you can see me. They didn't see the product listed on our website, which the purpose for that was because it was actually out of stock for the time being. But there have been other times where I just forgot to list it, and they will ask you, "Hey, we went to check up on your site, didn't see that you were selling it." So make sure and do that whenever possible. Let's see. Other questions here. 800 by 800 is recommended for image and Wix. So we want to edit in Photoshop as 1600 by 1600. Yes, that is typically what I like to double up. Whenever something tells you that a recommended size is 800 by 800, we'll double it. So that way it's a large image that is shrunk down. So there is no loss in quality. The problem that you have is if you start smaller and trying to go larger. If you have a 400 by 400 image and try to go to 800 by 800, that's when it stretches the pixels and it causes problems. So I typically like just to make them a little bigger and bring them down just in case I use them in another part of the website or things like that. And then, yeah, John mentions that PayPal lets you brand pretty much the entire shopping cart checkout experience. So unless you go through, which is true, yeah, you can completely customize the checkout system in PayPal to make it very specific to you and your company or your website. So it makes it really cool as well. And if that was ever something that you worried about. So Bob asks, I assume I can just use the images from Amazon, correct? Like, yeah, I do a lot. If the images are good. The only time I just don't use the image from Amazon is if the image is terrible, which happens from time to time. If the image is terrible, I'll just Google search the product and try to find good images to use in place of it. Oh, that's another thing. I'm assuming that there's something similar to this in GIMP. Let me show you how to remove backgrounds, white backgrounds, and make up something opaque. Let me switch to the screen share here. So like looking at this image of this USB thing. In Photoshop, there's this thing called the magic wand that I'm clicking right here. I imagine in GIMP it's probably called something else, but it's very similar in the way that it functions. If you click it, you can select the tolerance right here, which just means how strong the effect is going to be. When you click, no, that's probably too strong. Change the tolerance. You can click and it will remove all colors that it finds within the selection of, oh really? Let me remove this layer. real fast. But yeah, you could select all those and then delete out. Let me actually delete that layer. Layer type. But yeah, it would just be as simple as selecting it. It grabs that outside source, and then you would hit delete. So I'll go back to me. And so I have no idea what to put in the menus. I have a shop button with categories and a top bar with free shipping info and contact us. It looks kind of empty. I thought about doing like featured products and stuff like that. Do we have any ideas? It doesn't have to be overly complicated. Like you need a contact us area. You need an area where people can, where you put like your address or use the contact form that's built in Wix. You don't have to list your email address. I don't really like doing that on sites. I just like making a contact form where they can fill it out and email you, and it keeps their email address private. You need an About Us page. That's important, where you just talk about your company or what you're trying to accomplish with the that sales vehicle. A thing that I like to do in those little About Us sections, or even contacting companies, is that we focus on top quality products or whatever that I think that the company I'm contacting wants to see is the type of thing that I'll write in there, whatever gibberish they're looking for. Top quality products, looking for American made products, looking for whatever it is. You can change it to try to convince them to do things, to sell products to you. I don't even do typically like the terms and condition thing. You can just Google those. You can just use like terms and conditions if you wanted that on your site. If you wanted to have that in the privacy, there are templates that you can just fill in your info for online. So that's simple. Shipping and returns policy, same way. I would just mimic off of another website, just kind of find someone else that does it well and do that, or not do it at all. I would definitely have like shipping and return stuff, but some of these things you may not have to necessarily worry about. I don't know that companies are looking for them or think it legitimizes you or whatever. And a lot of times on the websites I'm building, I just don't have like terms and conditions anywhere to be found. I'll have the products, and About Us, a contact page, and then sometimes I'll do, just like Daniel mentioned, I'll do like sometimes with featured brands as a way to show companies that I go the extra mile to promote their specific product at times, and that would put them in our featured brands section of the website. So, yeah, so those things I worry less about. You can find examples that you can just copy paste for their places. So Connie asks, when you publish a website in Wix, does it submit to search engines automatically? Trying to avoid having to track and ship anything as a merchant seller if possible, in case someone finds the site and orders. Well, yes, it does. You just have to make sure that box is checked. I'll show it again one time here. When you're in Wix, when you go to publish, for it to not submit to search engines, this has to be turned off to the red here. Yeah, make sure that if it's ever green, it'll start submitting it. So make sure that's just turned off and it won't submit it to search engines. Yeah. So Michael mentions, my site looks pretty good, professional and all that. I wonder how many manufacturers actually check the site as opposed to just saying you have a web address and moving on. I think that it's probably like a 50-50 split. I mentioned when I was writing some of the stuff for the course that the impression time that companies have when they're looking at your website is super low. They're just looking for a few minutes or a few seconds really, and then moving on. So that's what you have to remember. Like, I think I put the average impression time, which is legitimate. I mean, I researched this and know from experience doing websites my whole life. Like, the impression time is 30 seconds or less. That's how much time someone that you send that email or that website is going to spend maximum going through your site. So it just has to be 20 or 30 seconds worth of good website. So it doesn't have to be overly complicated. You don't have to have all these different things. It just has to be effective for that 20 or 30 seconds. So it has to not look like crap, have products listed, or alternatively, if you're using it as a big marketing ploy, it has to have all the different marketing ploys that you use and can link to directly and use in your pitch. So whichever way you're going. So yeah, I just, it's more, like I always say and always mention, worrying about the finer details of the website are not as important as its existence. As long as it's up and there, it's helping you. If you're spending too much time worrying about it or stressing about the little parts and components, it's probably not doing you much good because you're wasting too much time on it. So your time could be better spent other places. So just do it and move on, and just fix any legitimate problems that come up as you find out about them or see that they were an issue. That's typically the way I've went about through life, is just doing things however, and then if it became a problem, I would change it. Which may not be the best advice to give. I probably shouldn't speak in front of school children or something, but on WordPress, is there a section that's, let's see, I think you were asking, is there a section on WordPress that discourages search engine indexing? Well, I'm not sure on WordPress if that exists or where it exists, but it looks like someone is yeah, let's see. Yeah, edit that part out of the video. Yeah, Eric. Right. Okay. Oh, one thing, we had a couple. I'll switch back over to Wix here. I wanted to show everyone how to create categories because I think it can be confusing, or it's weird. So here we have on the kitchen site, which I anticipate that you are seeing. This is just all of the inventory that I created for this site. But if let's say we wanted to create a category that was just juicers, right? Because we have 1, 2 juicers, and for the sake of arguments, we're going to call this coffee grinder a juicer. So if we wanted to make a separate category and have a different page that it was listed on, we would go click this Wix Stores app here, and we would go to Manage Store. And if you remember or have used this, hopefully this loads sometime this week. As this loads, ellipses, oh, come on now. Well, when this does finally load, there'll be yeah, see here on the left is a section called collections, which we would click. See, the top part, products, is all of our product inventory, but collections here is an area where we can create new collections, or collections just meaning categories. It's the same thing. So we can add a new collection. We can call it juicers, which I'm going to do. Juicers. Okay. And then I add products to the collection. And then so this is our full list of inventory, and I would just click the juicer. There's a juicer. And then there's a juicer, and we said the coffee grinder was going to be a juicer for argument's sake, and now that's a collection. That's a whole collection. It has 3 products in it. So I can close that out. We'll create a new page. I'll go to pages, add. We'll make a page. We'll make it we'll just go ahead and make it blank. All right, so I have a blank page. So now let's say I just want to add product inventory that is just juicers. Remember, just that category I just made. So I would go to Wix Stores, and now instead of clicking Manage Store, I'm going to add store elements. Okay, and then I'm going to choose the presentation style I want for those products. So we can choose a slider or a grid or whatever. So the grid is what the other part of the site was using. So we'll keep that the same here. Keep that consistent. So it just adds this, so which we want to change. So I'll click the inventory that it added, go to app settings, and then see here, choose a collection. It's set to default to all products, and I'll change it to juicers. And see, there's that collection of products called juicers that goes on this new page that I'll entitle, new category that I'll entitle juicers. Yay, we did it. Success. So now we have a juicers page with all the juicer products listed. So that's how you make categories worth of product. So let me go back over to the questions here and try to get them, see if I remember where we were. One question is, can we automate availability of products in website with our Amazon store, or do we have to do it manually? Yeah, to my knowledge, there is no third-party app that will connect your FBA inventory with Wix, which, like I said, we don't worry about it. The products don't actually get sold. It's not something that I would worry about or spend time worrying about or stressing out about. And then, so can you go over collections and products in Wix? Oh, yep. So that's what I just did. And could you do this for grocery, health, beauty, toys, or is there another way to add separate pages for each category? Yeah. I mean, just like I just did, you make a new every page that you make each time is a new category, and you just make new collections just like this. So that's how you would do. Yep. Keep doing this over and over for how many ever categories that you would need. Yep. Awesome. Let's go back here. And just a little thing to know. Let's go here and look at these products. Don't forget to do this. Let's see. Let me read this. Michael asks if he could, if kitchen and grocery could go together as a niche, and I definitely believe so. Easily, yeah. It's like I said, like that one that I made that was health related. I fit a million things into that niche and thought it was kind of effective, between health, beauty, fitness, sports and fitness. Or really fitness more than sports, but health, beauty, fitness, all that was part of the health website. You even fit in baby and grocery. Obviously, grocery is part of health. So, yeah, I think you can definitely, anytime that you can fit stuff in there, like a toys website, some other things that come to mind. If you ever, it's hard to deal wholesale in video game, but obviously video game or games fit on a toy website, anything like that. Baby toys fit on a toy website. I mean, obviously, baby products, that's similar to, that could fit on a toy website. So that's a way that you could get those products on there as well. I just try to be creative on those types of things. But, yeah, let's see. App settings, manage and add products. So don't forget that when your product has a variation, to make the variation here in the Wix listing, because that would be super awkward. To come up before, so like let's look at this spatula set. So like maybe you sell a variation of this set when people go to like one is a 3-piece or maybe like let's say there's a wood version, a plastic version of this. You can set those variations right here under inventory and options and select add product option, and you would choose, oh gosh, if one's plastic and one's wooden, we would just put type as the title, and you could put plastic and wood as the variations that they would be able to select from, and then you would hit save there. But that works the same way if it were products like size. Obviously, it's the one that you're going to see, size and color. So small, medium, large. That's how you make the variations for the listing. So because you don't want someone to come to your site, a wholesaler. I mean, when I'm talking about someone coming to your site, I'm always talking about wholesalers or manufacturers that you're linking to it, because no one else is really ever going to, customers are never really going to be on there. You don't want them to be verifying that your product is listed, and then you don't have all the different sizes or versions of it listed. So that's how you make the variations. So Jerome asks, what Wix account do you have? I'm not seeing the paintbrush or gears off to the left. It's probably just the screen share probably isn't picking up my whole screen. It's all there. But I think it must be just only be showing a portion of my screen or something. My big wide screen here. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from me. If we have other. He says he doesn't have the gears of the brush. I remember. So Jerome's saying that he doesn't have those options. It looks different for him. I'm not real sure. This is how it always looks for me. I remember a long time ago that there was like 2 versions of Wix. There was before they fully upgraded it. Sometimes you would log in and everything would look completely different. The editor would be completely different. But that kind of went away from me after so long. So I'm not sure. It could be something to do with if you're in mobile editor, desktop editor, or I'm not sure if you're seeing different options. These are the ones that I always see, so I don't know. But Sandy asks, am I in a Wix Pro account? I don't pay this website is not paid or anything, so we're just using the free version right now in the account that I'm on. And then let's see. Michael asks, let's say you have a big toy on your site, like a minion made by Hasbro or something that you purchased. All right, could a manufacturer judge your products and say that there's no way this guy could get purchased directly from Hasbro? Which also leads me to this question: is it good to have big name bidder products to impress wholesalers? It's not absurd to think that you could have Hasbro products on your website, because it's potential you could potentially have purchased them from a wholesaler, and that's not unusual. I mean, there's probably no profit in that product, which I don't think that's what they're thinking about. But yeah, you can buy Hasbro products and stuff from wholesalers. So that's not weird or uncommon. It's not strange to have major label products on your website, because you can purchase them from wholesalers, which we don't actually do. We don't really spend a lot of time purchasing from wholesalers. But yeah, that's why it wouldn't be weird to have those products listed. It's not weird to have major label products at all. It shouldn't. Any other questions, or if you can re-ask any that I might have missed? Sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with the scrolling. I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather today, so I don't know if I'm loopy or if my accent is particularly difficult to understand what I'm saying through it. Or I know that we all have. See, the thing is, we have people in this group from all kinds of other places that hear and immediately can recognize our accents. But Eric and Dan and me, this is how everyone talks around here. So it's not. It's normal for us. So Jill Getty asks, how do you get the category names to show up in the header? So let me go back to sharing. You can kind of do this in different ways. I hope I'm sharing the right desktop. Let me actually go back and make sure I picked the right. Okay. So like this one that we just made, I made a new page, which would be the name of the heading effectively. So my menu is right here at the top. And before I made that new juicers page, this didn't exist. So I added a new page, click the add new page button, entitled that page juicers, which you can see. If I click that here, you can see it. I changed it right here. That's the name of that, air quotes again, category. And I could put whatever I want in that page, and which I did. I put that collection of juicers. But you could also further create like an additional heading. You could add some text like this and do that. You can drag it anywhere you wanted. Juicers, and move that wherever. as well. And so like if we wanted to do this if I wanted to add on my kitchen site, I wanted to add baby products, right? I would just go to pages, add a page, and for the sake of this, we'll make it a blank page. And it creates it. See, it creates it up here in the menu with the default name blank. To change that, we click the gear for the page here, and we'll change that to baby products or something. Just make sure the page name and page address are the same. That's what I like to do. Hit done. So now I have a menu category called baby, and then I would do that same process for making a collection of baby products, going to manage store, creating the collection, going to add store elements, inserting that gallery of products where it just shows the ones that you selected that you consider or want to be the listed baby products. So yeah, I think that's it. And Michael asks, if your LLC name differs from your web name, would that be important information to include in the About Us section or help the wholesaler track back to you? Yeah, that's something that you can put somewhere on the site. Just to, like, you can put it in the footer, typically owned by. You could put in the right down here. I don't have anything in this footer, which I should, but I don't. Like in the footer, it could be part of whatever LLC or owned by whatever LLC. That's a good thing to do, and that's a good practice is to, if your legal business name is different than what the website's name is, to put that in the footer, just the name of the site with that verifies that the two are the same, part of the same thing. Bob asks, would it be too weird to have a toy page and a health and beauty page on the same site, or should it be separate sites? Would wholesalers look down on a site with tons of totally unrelated items, or is it, like you said, just get something up? I don't think it would be weird to have a website with a toy page and a health and beauty page, as long as the name of the website was conducive to being multi-category. So as long as it was like Bob Mart or something, you know, like, or
I could try to.
Let me think of I'll try to come up with a name, a general store name. Like the one I always use as an example is the general store. That's very general. But as long as the name is conducive, absolutely think that is totally fine. And I don't think anyone's going to look at it and look down on the site. Can we put the name of category as a sub? Yeah, you can do subpages on Wix as well. You can, yeah, like bobshop.com works, or you know, anything that's a general name. But yeah, these menus can break down into submenus as well. So like let's see where juicers and actually I forgot I'm not on screen share anymore. Let's switch back to screen share. So you can see how I've got these two pages that I can organize here, baby and juicers. You can make pages sub-pages. So if I took this baby one and I drug it into, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Yeah, I can drag it by these corners here. Baby, I can click, drag, and drag it to the right, or it makes it a sub-page of juicers. You can see it disappears in the menu up here when I do that. Or reappear, disappear. So right now, baby is a subcategory of juicer. So if I hit save here, we can preview that, see what it looks like. And then preview. So when they would mouse over juicers, subcategories appear. So that's how you just instantly create subpages of a page. It's just going, you know, so that the drop down would immediately appear like that. So that's all you got to do is move these right and left like that. Or I would move, like if I wanted to move baby up to the About Us section, I would just move it under About Us and pull it to the right to make it a subpage of About Us. So yeah, that's how you do that. Pretty easy. All right, folks, it is now 9:30. So I've probably oh yeah. So last question. The time is up. But Sandy asks, what about social media? Is it important or not? I think that it's a tool that you could use or to be effective, and it's powerful, and it could convince companies to be more inclined to sell to you if you have really good social media pages. But they're hard to build out and be good and have enough traffic or likes and things. That we don't do it. We just don't mess with social media because the time investment or the financial investment isn't something that we just thought. Like I would imagine that potentially I could just want to drop $500 on sponsored clicks to get a page like super high on a product, and then I could post deals or post a product every now and then as a form of additional advertisement. But yeah, it's not something we do. I think it is something you could effectively do. We just don't do it. But I'm not against it at all. Oh yeah, so there's the icons that were at the bottom of this page. Those were in there in the template. I just never removed them. That's why they were there. On any of the websites I really create, those don't exist because we don't use any social media at all. All right. I guess we'll call that a wrap, and then this will get processed and posted up tomorrow. So we'll thank you everyone for attending, and we'll see you soon.